Hey guys, how are you? Andy Suku, founder and CEO of YGK Credit Solutions. Today I want to talk to you guys about exotic auto loans. And this really doesn't have to do with credit, but it kind of does have to do with credit and credit restoration. But it's specifically to exotic auto loans or a car over $150,000. And the reason I'm speaking about this topic is because I have a client that's in this situation that we advised him not to do such thing, but he still did it, and he got denied for it, and he doesn't understand why. So I want to explain this to you guys, because a lot of you guys I know are in the cars, or you see people on social media posting all these exotic cars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Lambo trucks, G-Wagons, and they're standing in front of these cars taking photos, and they're selling you this dream. This could be your car. We can get you this car financing, next to no money down, lower rates, whatever the case may be. They're trying to sell it to you. 9 out of 10 times, it's not even these guys' cars. They don't even own these cars. They're just standing in front of other people's car and shooting content, right? But I'm gonna post the client's denial letter that he received from the bank in this video as well. So I want you guys to read it, okay? So when it comes to exotic cars, now if your money is not kosher, and what I mean by that, it's not from a W-2. If you're in the entertainment business, the adult business, and your money is cash, a lot of these guys that are posting these videos on social media that they can get you these cars, 9 out of 10 times they're doing a lot of fraudulent paperwork, filing fake tax returns, fake W-2s, or pretending to file fake tax returns, creating fake W-2s to get you approved for these loans, right? But if you're a working class citizen, you have a good job, you don't have a lot of debt, you have your mortgage, you're paying out on time, you have some credit card bills, you're paying your bills on time, and you want to apply for these loans, there's some things you need to know when it comes to exotic cars. So one, if you're buying a car anywhere over $100,000, a lot of banks, if you've never financed something of that number of $100,000 or something close to $100,000, a lot of banks will not approve the deal. A lot of banks will want to have you have more skin in the game before they approve the deal. What do I mean by that? So let's say you're buying something for $100,000. Let's say on your credit report, the most expensive car you financed has been maybe $40,000. So that's what a bank has approved you for. A bank is not going to approve you for a $100,000 loan when the most expensive car you had on your credit report or you financed was $40,000. So they're going to want you to put a heavy down payment. They may want you to put 20% down, 30% down, right? In order to get the loan, because they want to make sure that you have more skin in the game so they're not on the losing side, right? So now, secondly, if you're buying an exotic car, let's say Ferrari, I've owned Ferraris, I have a great relationship with Ferrari. And if you know about Ferraris will not let you buy their car unless you own one of their cars directly from them. They're very strict on who they approve for loans on Ferraris. Lamborghinis, anyone can get approved for that if you qualify. So let's say you're applying for a $690,000 car, which is what the car cost that the client was applying for. And he went to Woodside Credit. Woodside Credit is a bank in Newport Beach, California that specializes in exotic and classic cars. They write a lot of loans for those kind of vehicles. How do I know this? They were one of my banks when I was working at the bureaus. I wrote the script for them. That's how I know Woodside Credit. I'm very well versed in the whole system. So if you go on their website, they'll show you 20% down, 144 months term. But what you're not reading in the fine print is that you have to have a car on your credit report, or if you have to finance something equivalent to what you're trying to buy to them, from them. So let's say you're trying to buy a car for $690,000. You go to Woodside Credit, they deny you. And they tell you don't have anything equivalent to what the car that you're buying for on your credit report. What that means is what I just said. You've never financed something even equivalent to $690,000 or close to that. So they're not going to approve the loan. In order to get that loan approved, you would have to put a good chunk of money down for a down payment in order to get approved for that loan. Now, when you read these terms, 144 month, 20% down, these banks that's marketing, advertising. Yes, it is true. Woodside Credit does do that. They do offer that service, that term. but that's considering that you financed cars equivalent to what you're buying in the past and you've paid them off satisfactory on your credit report. All right. So what the client is going through is what I told him: you're not going to get approved. It's not going to work, and no bank is going to do it, even if you go to an outside bank. Something you want to know is that when you're buying an exotic car, you never want to go to an outside bank. When I say outside bank, you don't want Ally Financial, Santander's, Capital One. Those banks will never approve those loans. But also, you don't want those loans being financed by those banks, because they're gonna kill you on the interest rate. Okay, if they do it. Some banks may do $100,000, $150,000, but anything over $200,000 in that range, and you've never financed something like that in the past, it's not gonna go through. Next thing you want to see now is that insurance. Now, if you're aware of what's going on in the insurance space, car insurance space, homeowners insurance space, down here in South Florida, insurance companies are not writing policies anything over $100,000 value of car. They're not doing it. You have a very hard time getting exotic cars and cars over $100,000 being insured here in South Florida. And that is because of all the scams that's been going on down here, all the hurricanes, all the insurance claims. All of that plays a big factor. This is why we have such high homeowners and really high car insurance here in South Florida. I mean, it's like 10x what you would pay in another state. Put it that way. Shortly, Florida is going to become a state that where you either you can make it or you can't make it. That's the bottom line. There's no middle class. All right. Now, what's going to happen in the other states, like up north, East Coast, the Northeast, Midwest, West Coast? They don't have that kind of insurance claims or that much claims. So instead of them raising the rates or not insuring cars valued over $100,000, they're going to be implementing a 16% insurance raise across the country. All right. So when you're buying these cars, you want to think about the insurance as well. For exotic cars, American Modern is the company that, or Hagerty are the companies you want to get insurance from. Now, those are the companies for exotic cars. Now, you know, how it does tap into credit a little bit. Even though you may have a 790 credit score, this is what the client has, a 790 credit score, it does not qualify you for a $690,000 loan. The score is great. It shows that you're paying your bills on time. It shows that you're responsible. You're not delinquent. You're not default. You don't default. But again, if the data is not on your credit report for X amount of dollars, for X amount of cars, the deal is not going to go through. So when you see these guys on social media promoting these cars and they're getting you into these crazy loans or getting you approved for these cars, on a normal 9 to 5, it's almost a little harder. But again, if your money is not as kosher as a working person, and what I mean by that is you're working in the entertainment industry, you have, you know, your money's being paid by cash. That's where these guys are getting creative and creating fake W-2s and tax returns to get you approved. But that's just something I wanted to share to you guys and break it down on how the exotic car world works when it comes to financing. If you have a question about this video, comment, drop it below, and I'll try to answer it for you guys. Talk to you soon. Have a good day.